Hello my baby gorillas, and what have we got today? Humza Useless was insulted on Twitter, and now there's a gentleman under house arrest. So Humza Yusuf, people don't know, is the Islamofascist SNP MP who is now brought in the hate speech bill under wee Nippy, the alleged lesbian who did something to her girlfriend apparently, that nobody's got allowed to talk about because she doesn't have one. And so he's basically now got a gentleman in Scotland under house arrest because he sent him some mean tweets. Now these maybe been a bit edgy, but certainly they weren't threats of violence or anything. Just Humza Yusuf, the Islamofascist, didn't like them. And member of the child rapist death cult, and obviously a member of a cult that actually enslaves people. So that actually says in its tenets to enslave people. So I don't know why you're promoting a religion that from its founder, from Muhammad, who was a sexual slave trader, a rapist, and basically raped and enslaved people all over the world, that you would feel, while you're promoting that ideology and imprisoning people for insulting Humza Yusuf, the member of the child rapist death cult, to actually then start to imprison people in their own houses because of this. And if anybody else in Scotland or anywhere else has getting a problem with this sort of thing, where he made a tweet, I think he says, I can't even remember what the outcome of the tweet, it wasn't really that serious, but Humza Yusuf's feelings were hurt. So that's now, Humza Yusuf's feelings being hurt is now the same as now being able to imprison them. Imprison somebody who hurts his feelings. So if you hurt Humza Useless's feelings, then you should go to jail in Scotland. Because Humza, I've already pointed out, Humza Yusuf's an Islamofascist and now supporting wee Nippy's Marxist agenda. Standing there in front of a wee daft fist. So yeah, I mean really, it's just absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. I mean, for Nicola Sturgeon producing this, but I think Nicola Sturgeon is jackets on a shaky peg just now, because she's so extreme. I mean, she is an extremist. She's embarrassing Scotland just now as well. She's not, I don't think, promoting something that would be compatible to the majority of Scots. She's still not able to break the 50% barrier, which would mean that Scotland would actually get an independence or win an independence referendum, because she's so extreme. She's she is literally the far left, where people who are in the centre, like the Family Party, like the Liberalist Party, the Liberal Party, like UKIP, even the ones who have actually done, even All for Unity, all of these parties are actually in the centre and described as far right. So this is the actual trick that they're trying to do, is that they're on the far left, and that anybody who's even a centrist, a liberal de facto, is now being described as far right. But obviously 100 million people have died under socialism and under communism. A girl said to me that only people died under Stalin. People have been killed. I mean, Mao. I mean, every political system that the socialists have set up, there's been mass murders. They're the second largest mass murdering ideology behind Islam, which has got 300 million, but it's been going for 1400 years. The promotion of Marxism. So I mean, honestly, the lack of political history and nuance is just absolutely staggering. So Nicola Sturgeon's now promoting this anti-white guilt, racist theory, critical race theory in Scotland as well, and saying that, I mean, there is literally 96% of the population is white in Scotland, so it's not as if there's a great suppression. And my friends were immigrants from Hong Kong, 3 brothers, all of which, and a sister, all of which did better, second generation, all of which did better probably than the average Scot in education and I think further on to working, as far as I'm aware. One, because the daughter became the sister became a doctor. One brother became an architect, one other brother became an airline pilot, another brother got a degree from Glasgow University. So this, and obviously the Lotus Eaters have also done a diagram that the fact that there's a smaller percentage of the population that have been abused for being white. The terrorist attacks are not even taken into consideration, that this is abuse on the white population. The mass rapes have not been taken. The mass rapes have been covered up both by the Labour Party and the Conservative Party of Muslims on British children, pimping out children as long as 13, and the Home Secretary is just doing all this blah 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 blah. You can't trust the Tories, you can't trust the Lib Lab, Con Party, the Greens, the SNP. They're all globally shill parties. They're all taking their orders from somebody else, and they're not protecting the British population. 40,000 incidents of hate crimes on the British populace. Now, not every part of the country is mixed, has got a large proportion, so that's even more concentrated to certain areas, and there's been nothing done by the people in here to actually examine that, although it's a smaller percentage, but because obviously the majority of the populace is white. We don't know what the breakdown and why that's actually happening. They're ignoring other statistics. They're blaming white people for the mass rapes of children by Muslims, by Priti Patel. The covering up, we thought Priti Patel was going to be better than this. But obviously, it's not even Priti Patel. She's almost like a captured hostage. It's the whole of the Tory party, especially the upper echelons of the Tory party, that have done this, that have actually been commandeered to actually do this, because there's obviously other people's agendas at play that are not fitting in with the underlying British agenda, or for the British people's agenda. The globalist agenda has overtaken the requirements and the protections of the individual in here. So I can be deported from a Muslim country back to here, but a person who's came here, doesn't matter if they're Muslim or not, can be deported back to a country of origin because of their human rights. So my human rights can be abused over there, but human rights can be abused here. And Priti Patel is doing nothing. And now we're actually getting seen, if you're hurty feelings, what's his face? Humza useless. And this is what we're getting the Islamofascists brought in. They want more Islamofascists brought in to governors. Wee Nippy's on that agenda as well. She's obviously a Marxist as well, so they've killed 100 million people, and she'll probably feel right at home with the Islamofascists who have killed 300 million people. And she doesn't actually care about the underlying Scots. She doesn't care about them. She's actually on the globalist agenda as well. So she's got three agendas that are all anti-Scottish. We only have to look at the writings of Engels to see the underlying anti-Scottish agenda in the writings of Engels. She won't get another referendum. Alex Salmond's right. She's not a Scottish. She's already on the record for saying she's not a Scottish nationalist. She's saying that anybody that turns up here is Scottish as she is. Oh, is that right, Nippy? Have you taken that to a referendum? I'd like that put to the Scottish people and find out from the Scottish people whether they think that. And now she's promoting critical race theory, which is a racist guilt-tripping of white people based on the Marxist lens of oppressor and oppressed, whereas she is the oppressor. She's in charge. Wee Nippy, the communist, is in charge. And it's her that's promoting this. So, I mean, really, absolutely disgusting. Oh, Humza useless hate speech bill, which is just an attack on freedom of speech for the Islamofascists. The Scottish people better smell the coffee, honestly, or they're going to have a big problem ahead of them. My baby gorillas.